Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the anti-ordinary equation. The fact that you're here already means you are either familiar with the concept of programming languages or you're new to this whole thing. Anyway, from the title of the video you already know the topic of this video. But before we go on to our actual topic, I would like to tell you a story. Well, it's my story. So it was like 6 years ago when I first started to learn Java. I was so ready then. So one day I was there and I was like, okay, so I already know C and C++. So let's learn Java. And I checked the top languages at that time, and still to this time as Java is in the top list. So let's hit it. But then the funny thing happened because I downloaded more than 20 gigs of tutorials just to learn and master it. But after seeing the first two lessons, and the first lesson was really hard to get in, like installing Eclipse, it's not as easy as it is today. And I know I said Eclipse, it's the compiler we're going to use to run our Java code and everything. But yeah, after seeing the first two lessons, I just selected all the folders and shift deleted them. Yeah, just like that. But still, here I am teaching you folks the same thing. Anyway, let's begin. Over the next few lessons we are going to learn some basic topics about some very basic stuffs, and if you have already known other programming languages, so these lessons will be very much similar to those. But you can skip it, but I suggest you don't skip it because it's pretty different from other programming languages. So without further ado, I hope you can learn some new stuffs with me. So as this is the first lesson, I am not going to dive in too deep into the actual lessons, but I'm just going to give an introduction in this episode. So what you see in front of me has been compiled from many resources, including my teacher's lectures, my books, whichever I learned, and also the tutorials. Yes, those same 20 gigs of tutorials, which I re-downloaded, of course. Anyway, so in front of you, you see an outline. So the first we'll get to know about the Java programming language as its basics. Then we're going to learn about its development, and then finally we're going to introduce object-oriented programming in front of you. In case you already know what object-oriented programming is, then I believe that it's going to be very easy for you to understand. Else, I'm talking in, of course, in programming language, else it's going to be a new thing, and don't worry, I'm just going to treat you all like new students. Now, a programming language specifies the words and symbols that we can use to write a program. A programming language employs a set of rules that dictate how the words and symbols can be put together to form valid program statements. In Java programming languages, a program is made of one or more classes. A class contains one or more methods. A method contains program statements. These terms will be explored in detail throughout the course. A Java application always contains a method. Now, in case you're wondering what a method is, which is the basic thing here, a method is just a function, but in Java it's called a method. Now here in front of you is a Java program. We are calling it firstclass.java. So in this program, we're seeing the structure of the Java program. So we can see here public class first class, which is the main class of this program, and then inside that we have a main method, and we call it public static void main. I'm going to explain whatever those things means, these small words, but now bear with me. So this is the structure. So we first declare a class, a main class, and inside that we declare a main method that is going to instruct the main code. In more technical terms, the public class my program say, or the first class here, has two curly braces. open and closing curly braces, and in those curly braces whatever you write is called the class body, whereas the public class and whatever you put the name is going to be the class header. And inside here you can put comments anywhere. We're going to learn about comments. So in this next slide you can see that there is the main method inside this class, and just like the main class, the public static void main string third bracket args, this is the method header, and inside their own curly braces is the method body. Next up we have comments. Comments in a program are called inline documentation. They should be included to explain the purpose of the program and describe processing steps. This does not affect how the program works, because these lines, this double slash and the slash star ending with star slash, these are lines that the compiler avoids when it reaches them. Computer programs are something that once you do it, you remember it, but after a while you forget it. No matter what you do, you're not going to remember it. So it's for your own self and for other people who reads your program afterwards to understand. Next up we have identifiers. Identifiers are the words a programmer uses in a program. An identifier can be made up of letters, digits, the underscore character and the $sign. Identifiers cannot begin with a digit, and Java is very much case sensitive, which means if you write total and total with a capital T and all caps in any ways, they're all different identifiers. By convention, programmers use different case styles for different types of identifiers, such as title case for class names, first class, here F and C are uppercase. Then again for constants, they use full uppercase, for example here maximum. Sometimes we choose identifiers ourselves when writing a program, for example first class. Or sometimes we use another programmer's code, so we use the identifiers that he or she chose, such as println. Very often in programming we use some special identifiers, and these are called reserved words. These words cannot be used as variable names or constant names ourselves because these are reserved. Some of the reserved words in Java are mentioned here. Next up we have whitespace. Spaces, blank lines and tabs are called whitespace. Whitespace is used to separate words and symbols in a program. Extra whitespace is always ignored by the compiler. A valid Java program can be formatted in many ways. Programs should be formatted to enhance readability using consistent indentation. Here we can see an example, which is firstclass2.java. Now this program is the same as the firstclass.java which we saw earlier, but this time there are no spaces to actually decorate the program. So even though this program will run just fine in Java, but it does not look right. If someone else is reading this, he or she won't understand what it means at a first glance, like it's not beautiful enough. What this means is that writing programs like this without spaces and without proper indentation, it's just bad practice. In this slide, we can see it's firstclass3.java. Now we have put a lot of unnecessary spaces or white spaces. For example, here public class and between unnecessary space and then firstclass3. Once again, this program will run just fine because the compiler will ignore these white spaces and run it. But once again, this is just bad practice and people will not like this kind of programming. Alright folks, that's about it for this episode. In the next one, we're going to talk about program development. See you in the next one.